Coming to you from the Lydia Media Studios in the heart of Lewiston, Auburn, it's Lydia's Lunch Bunch, LA's afternoon morning show with Mark, Sarah, and Pam. We're covering news and events in the greater LA area and talking to the people making a difference in our community. Give us a listen at lydiamediallc.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com.
And today's show is brought to you by United Piping, serving residential and commercial customers with new installations and repairs. Call today and schedule your oil and gas boiler cleanings at 754-4556. UPI, the best plumbers around. Also brought to you by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it, squatch it. At 5 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com, and remember, the party starts at Ruper's.
We have the pleasure of being joined in studio today by the owner of Scoop for Paws and Collaborative Cleaners, Carey Zembas. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Excellent. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And you're a fan of the show, we understand.
I am a fan of the show.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Do you have any favorite episodes so far?
I tend to listen to mostly my B&I members. So I think like when Chad was here and Dave was here and Mike was here and, you know, there's just a long list. But I like listening to them and them sharing their stories about what they're doing. And I think it's awesome.
Chad got to hang out and drink with us.
Yeah.
That's that.
Not surprised.
Got to come on a Thursday.
That's right. Yeah. Or, I don't know.
Any day,
we've done
really.
it every day of the week.
We can be convinced.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
We have a pretty loose schedule.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So we are going to talk to Carey all about Scoop for Paws and Collaborative Cleaners coming up here in just a bit. But before we get there, let's take a look at some headlines for Tuesday, April 22nd.
The National Trust for Local News, which owns the Sun Journal and most of Maine's daily newspapers, named 57-year-old Tom Wiley as its new chief executive officer. Wiley has experience in sales, advertising, and publishing and has served as publisher of the Buffalo News since 2020. In a written statement, Wiley said, quote, "I am excited to help our newsrooms produce even more great local journalism and help our sellers and marketers build a strong business around it."
The Sun Journal reports that Mount Auburn apartment complex located at 138 Mount Auburn Road is accepting lease applications for 1- and 2-bedroom units. The units should be ready by June 15th. Apartments include an in-unit washer and dryer, granite countertops, and a private balcony. Foundation work is underway for the second building, which was destroyed by fire in September.
Central Maine Healthcare and Prime Healthcare Foundation will hold a public information session today titled Securing the Future of Healthcare in Central Maine. The event will be held at the Franco Center at 5 p.m. For more information, visit cmhc.org/secureourfuture.
And a Popeyes restaurant will likely open this summer at 841 Lisbon Street in Lewiston. The chain was started 47 years ago in New Orleans and is famous for its fried chicken, biscuits, and sweet iced tea. There are more than 2,700 Popeyes in the U.S. and around the world.
Love that chicken at Popeye.
Ooh, that was a Pam.
Wow.
That wasn't even me. That was awesome. Want to go get some chicken?
Chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles. Oh, my gosh. Or we could talk about the weather.
Weather!
Clouds give way to sunshine later this afternoon. We'll have a high of 65. Whoop, whoop.
What?
Low of 42. Sunny tomorrow with a high of 61 and a low of 41. Sun and clouds on Thursday with highs in the mid-60s.
I wore a long sleeve shirt today.
Why?
I didn't know it was going to be 65 and sunny.
Surprised you don't have your paddleboard.
Yeah, I have some scissors if you want to
I get out
turn
of
it
work.
into a short sleeve shirt.
I get out of work early today.
I'm staying on Taylor Pond this week if you want to come visit.
You know I do. Bringing my paddleboard.
She'll be there before you wake up.
I don't know. Hi, good morning. Knock, knock, knock,
Pam,
knock.
I'm going to need some coffee.
Three, there's 3 dogs. You
Pam.
cannot sneak up on the house. I will tell you that for sure.
In sports, it's official. Maine basketball phenom Cooper Flagg has declared for the NBA draft. The 18-year-old Newport native will leave Duke University after an outstanding freshman year and will likely be the number 1 pick.
Christian Campbell drove in 2 runs and Walker Buehler gave up 1 run over 7 innings as the Red Sox beat the Chicago White Sox 4-2. The Sox will host the Seattle Mariners tonight at 6:45.
The Celtics won the first game of their best-of-7 playoff series against the Orlando Magic. Game 2 is tomorrow night in Boston.
CMCC Baseball visits York County Community College this afternoon at 4.
Bates College Baseball will host Thomas College today at 4, and Bates Softball will visit Husson College for a doubleheader with first pitches scheduled for 3 and 5 p.m.
And our Maine Nordiques are tied 1-1 in their best-of-5 series with the stinking Maryland Black Bears. Games 3 and 4 are Friday and Saturday at the Colisee.
So excited.
That is your news, weather, and sports. And right now it is time for the podcast segment that is Sweeping the Twin Cities. It's time for famous people birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let's take a look at FPBs for April the 22nd, shall we?
Uh-huh.
All right. We're going to start off with Ryan Stiles,
He's so tall.
who is 66 years old today. He was on the Drew Carey Show and that improv show.
Whose line is it
Yeah,
anyway?
whose line is it anyway? That one.
I used to love
That
that,
one.
show.
He's so funny.
Peter Frampton is 75 years old today. Remember him from Frampton Comes Alive?
Nope.
Album
You don't. You know who he is.
the album that was groundbreaking.
Ooh, baby, I love
Yeah.
your way. Remember that one?
Yeah, Show Me the Way. You feel like we do. Peter was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2024. Well, that certainly took long enough.
I guess 76 is when he released his
My
first album.
Goodness.
Okay.
Director John Waters is 79 years old today.
Aw. Hairspray.
Hairspray.
Yep.
That's the big one.
Yep.
And rounding out FPBs for April the 22nd is, Pam, you heard of this guy, Jack Nicholson.
That's how I remember him, is sitting on the sidelines of all of the Lakers games.
Yes.
Just with his sunglasses on, watching Lakers games and drinking and smoking.
Maybe that's why he's lived to be 88. He
Maybe.
doesn't give a
I mean, he's a well-known actor, but like from my childhood, like before I could watch his movies, that was how I just remembered him. Like you remember your grandpa a certain way? That's how I remember Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
He's been an actor for over 50 years.
Yeah.
Has won 3 Academy Awards, 3 British Academy Film Awards, 6 Golden Globes, and a Grammy.
He's done all right.
And you remember him from sitting on the...
Sidelines of the Lakers
Sidelines
games.
of the
Yeah.
Lakers.
I mean, obviously I remember him from his movies too. Like The Shining was an incredible movie.
It was.
A Few Good Men was an incredible
Men.
movie. As Good as It Gets was great.
Definitely.
Yeah. All
The
those
Departed.
The Departed.
Batman. He was good in
He was the
Batman.
best
Said it
Joker of
wrong.
all time.
It's The Departed.
Departed. The best Joker of all time.
I agree.
Oh, without
Hands
a doubt.
down. Nobody did that better. I felt like Jack Nicholson was likable and terrifying at the same time.
Carrie, do you have a favorite Jack Nicholson movie?
I agree with Sarah. He was like good but terrifying at the same time. You're like, I don't know if I'm scared or I like this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically all my relationships.
What was the movie that he did? My God, I was going to let it just ride, but
No, it deserves a break.
it deserves a break. What was the movie that he did with Helen Hunt where he had obsessive compulsive disorder?
Wasn't that as good as it gets?
Is that as good as it gets? That was
Good
that
as it
one.
gets,
Yeah, I
yeah.
thought I couldn't
Because
remember.
he's like,
Yeah.
what if this is as good as it gets?
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Those are your FPBs for April the 22nd. Now let's take a quick look at what happened on this day. A little bit of OTDs for you on this Tuesday. 13 years ago, in the year 2012, Veep, starring Julia Louis-Dreyfus, premiered on HBO and ran for 7 seasons.
Never even heard of it. 40 years ago, in 1985, Prince released his 7th album, Around the World in a Day. That'd be fast. That's the one featuring Raspberry Beret.
Big hit.
Raspberry beret.
47 years ago on this day in 1978, John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd first appeared as the Blues Brothers on Saturday Night Live.
Nice.
49 years ago on this day in 1976, Barbara Walters became network TV's first anchor woman when she signed on to co-anchor ABC's Evening News with Harry Reasoner, and she was paid $1 million per year.
Can you hit that applause button?
Yeah.
Good job.
55 years ago on this day, 1970, the first Earth Day was celebrated. That's when I think maybe we came to our senses and we're like, hey, we're screwing up a lot of stuff.
We're still doing it.
Maybe we should dedicate one day a year to caring about what we're doing.
Guys,
Just one.
you only have to recycle one day a year to save the planet. The other 364 doesn't matter.
That's right. And 59 years ago on this day in 1966, the song Wild Thing by the Trogs was released in the U.S. Those are your FPBs and OTDs for April the 22nd.
Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the L.A. area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Now we shift focus fully to our guest in studio, entrepreneur extraordinaire, Carey Zembas, who owns Scoop for Paws and Collaborative Cleaners. What's next?
I don't know. I come up with all these inventions all the time in my head. Then I share them slowly with my family, like, we should do that. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. You always got to be thinking, what's next? See, what happens is you come up with great ideas. Like the pooper scooping wasn't my idea, but it was in other states, people that could do it, all year long. And I just brought it here. And now everybody wants to do it. That's just how it is.
But you do it the best.
But we do it the best.
Right.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that. Was Scoop for Paws your first business?
Yeah, it was.
What did you do before that?
I did a lot of things. I was working for a commercial cleaning company, Rose's Commercial Cleaning. I was with them for almost 10 years. And I had been thinking about the pooper scooper thing for like 3 years. And I did a lot of research and how I wanted to do it. And keeping it clean was really like my big thing, making sure we were using sanitizers and wiping our tools and not cross-contaminating through yards. And we wear booties and we put bags over our equipment so it's not messy and you're not putting it in the car. And who wants dog poop on their shoe? And, so there was a lot of thought that went behind it. And I think people that do it now, I don't think they have that forefront of thinking, like, how do I really do this? It's just like, oh, I'm going to go pick up some dog poop. I think if you really want a legitimate business and you want to have things that make sense, right, and that set you apart from other people. So I think that that's what we do.
And when did this idea come to you?
It was like 3 years before 2018. I saw somebody doing it. They lived in Florida. And I was like, what a brilliant idea. Because at the time I had my son who had got a dog and promised to pick up all the poop. Like, promised.
Don't they always do that?
I'll pick up all the poop if you let me have the dog. And that never happened.
Of course not.
He'd pick up 3 turds and leave 16 in the yard, And my boyfriend at the time would go out and circle them with orange paint. Like, you left all these. So let me just show you. So, and then it's like, there's a need, right? People are like, oh, I have kids. Yeah, your kids aren't doing it and they don't want to do it any more than you want to do it. So, that's just reality. People are busy. We all work. It's a 2-income household, I always say, So if we can create a convenience that allows people to have time freedom of not having to do those tasks. They can just go out and mow. They don't have to worry about the poop. They have so much to do on their plate. There's a lot of stigma around it, too. People get really angry. Like, oh, you can't even pick up your own dog's poop. It's like, well, do you wash your own car? Do you, people, there's so many things that people do nowadays that create time for your life, right? Like, you can shop online. You can pick out all your groceries and drive up to the grocery store and they're loaded in your car. I just feel like bringing shame to things that people need or want. It's just awesome. Like, just let them be.
Yeah.
If you want to have a pooper scooper, call me. Like,
what's the problem?
It's cool. We can do it on the down low. Nobody will know.
Who's that stranger who's in your yard every week? Right. What does she do with it?
But it's consistent, and I think that's the one thing, people aren't consistent because, like Sarah said, she's like, I'm great for a couple months, but then it's like, ugh. But if you have somebody coming every single week, you know it's done. And your dogs are happy because they're not walking in it and then bringing it in your house.
That's the worst part. Yeah, knowing like your dogs are trotting around out there, stepping in it, and then they're coming in.
Yeah. So consistency, knowing that it's being taken care of regularly. You have a cleaner yard, you have a cleaner space for your animals, and poop is not fertilizer, guys. It's just not.
Oh, it just ruins your grass.
It's got E. coli. It's got parasites. It has all the things like a human poop would have. So you don't want it to just sit around. You want to
poop a lot. So a week,
do.
there's a lot of poop out there already.
I'm shocked by how much my dog poops, actually. He's a small animal, and it's a very large amount of poop per day.
They say 1 to 7 times a day they can poop.
He poops at least twice a day, and for somebody so small, it is not size proportionate to him. I'm
Like
going to
a
say.
Great Dane poop.
Yeah, for a 45-pound dwarf dog, these are large dog poos. I don't get it.
We love the big poops. Those are easy to find.
Yeah, no, they are.
This
Totally.
is going to be a great episode for third graders to
Yeah. Maybe we should put a warning on this one not to eat your breakfast while we talk about it. Poop, poop, poopity poop. Said it again.
Wow. And Carey, tell us about when the business started. You were a one-woman show,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, I started by myself. I was in BNI, and I just wanted to get the word out. I started putting just on Facebook that I was doing it, created a page and was like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. The first year, I think I did like $2,500. And I was like, okay, it's getting a little bit of traction. The next year, I doubled it. So I did 5,000. And then the next year, I did 20,000.
Whoa.
And then the next year, I did 40,000. So
Holy smokes.
it's been progressively growing. And I think that when people realized how much of a need there was, that's when you started having competition of, people coming in and saying, I want to do this too. And I don't have a problem with that. I had a lot of people call me and be like, what do you charge? And how do you do this? And, what should I charge customers? And, and I'm like, I love supporting other people 100%. And I would love to give them all the information. But there's a part of me that's also like, kind of figure it out. Like,
You had to.
do your research. Look at other people that do it and what they charge.
This is their research.
You shouldn't have to be their resource when they're your competition, though.
So I went from like posting everything on my page to kind of like pulling it back because I do feel like we do things a little bit different than everybody else. We don't really just walk out there with old shovels and rakes and, rusty equipment. We like to keep our stuff clean and neat and really making sure that we're keeping the dogs safe by sanitizing all of our equipment in between each yard. During spring cleans, we're like hosing down our equipment and making sure that we're just not cross-contaminating or bringing any diseases or viruses or whatever into other yards to get other animals sick. So
Right.
They're going to go right back out there when you're done and begin their business.
exactly, yeah.
You don't want them sitting in
You're
somebody
walking
else's.
around in their yard, and you can potentially pick that up and bring it to another yard. So my thing has always been making sure that we are doing it cleanest and
Most sanitary.
most sanitary.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that you wear the booties, too.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Dog poo on your shoe is like the absolute worst. But if you can just strip that booty off, fold it in, and throw it away.
And sometimes the grass is long, so you would think, oh, you can see it, but the grass is long, but they're also peeing in the yard, so you're kind of combating a couple things in there, So definitely the booties is important for just keeping all of your stuff and the dog and yards clean too. So
Did you expect the kind of growth that your business experienced?
kind of. I saw that, other people were really making this a thing. in other states that, like I said, they were doing it. They weren't seasonal. So I knew that there was a potential. There's definitely a need for this service. Definitely a lot of people appreciate the service. They're excited. They're happy, especially in the spring when we do the spring cleanups. Everybody's like, my yard is back. Thank you so much. Like, they're just so happy to not have to deal with all the poop. So
With all the petrified poop. That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah, some of it's
yes.
yeah.
And when it's really rainy in the spring, it just kind of like rejuvenates that, and like brings it back to life.
Yeah.
Like, you thought you forgot about all this, but
We're still here.
you're still here.
The best when it like melts and then freezes around it, so you have like an iceberg of poo. The
Or
poo
it's
like right in the middle.
leaves or mixed in with, all the stuff from the yard. You got poop on a stick.
Yeah, they don't care where they poop. No. Do you find that more people take advantage of like a single spring cleanup than a regular weekly cleanup?
Yeah, so we usually have an influx of 100 to 130, 40 yards that we do in the spring. And some of them are just like, the spring clean's way too much. I can manage it, weekly. But definitely a lot of people don't want to deal with, all the poop that's been accumulating since November, depending on when winter started, for 6, 7. How long is winter in Maine? I don't remember.
12 months.
It seems too long.
End of day.
It's 12 months long. That's all.
Yes.
I find that my dog is very central in his choosing of where he poops, and so it's a little bit easier for me because I have a smaller yard here in the city. How do you find all of it for those? Like, Mark has quite a big yard. How do you search for the poo, Carey?
So I think that mostly dogs go in the same areas. They kind of have a pattern, like their scent, they follow where they've been. There are some dogs that just go rogue and they're just want to go everywhere.
Rogue.
So in those,
Carrie's like, there's one up in a tree. I couldn't get to it.
I don't know how I got up there.
yeah, you just walk the yard, and I have a specific, I won't tell the details, but I have a specific way of walking yards to make sure that we don't miss any.
Oh.
So it's
Trade secret. You keep it.
It's a specific pattern.
Yeah. She drags a white sheet across the lawn.
We wear white booties.
Sorry. I didn't mean to give away a secret. Well, congratulations on your success with
Thank you
Scoop
so
for Paws.
much.
Can you tell us about the name? It's a pretty unique name. I love it.
So I just thought of it. I was just like, what's kind of a combination of like you're picking up poop for dogs. Like, it went through a few different versions, but I think that it just made sense.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cute name, and definitely we always in our BNI, I had the Skip make us cards, and he came up with the we scoop so you don't have to for me, and I've had other people take that. I know, it's so funny. Yeah, so the new thing is
Keep your yard clean.
keep
so
your
grass stays green, or
keep your yard clean
Oh.
so your grass stays green. And that was from Pam. I don't know whoever made it up. Did you?
Yeah, that was
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. So we've had a couple slogans that have gone really well.
Let's talk about collaborative cleaners. When did that come to be?
So Collaborative Cleaners, I left roses, and I knew that I wanted to continue doing cleaning. I started that in 2022. We started with just 5 of us, and now I have 15 employees.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yep. It's awesome. We're over by Roy's Foodland, and we have a great space that's from one of the property management companies that we work for. And we've been doing amazing things.
Do you do residential and commercial cleaning?
So I do very little residential. I'll do one-time spring cleans or fall one-offs. So if somebody's selling a house or buying a house and they want it clean before they move in or move out, I do those. I have very limited residential spots open because I only do residential for my commercial properties. So if you have a business or you're one of my commercial accounts, I will clean your house because there's just houses are are very high maintenance and they're very personal. So I don't like to take a lot of them. I like to make sure that they get the special time that they need. So I have a waiting list for that.
Wow. Impressive.
So we do a lot of post-construction. We're currently over off Pine Street doing the 8 new buildings for Hebert's construction right now. With their, we did the historical building yesterday and the day before, Friday, and we're moving into a new building today to start. So they've been cruising over there.
I'm sure a lot of people would think, well, it's brand new. What is there to clean? But like people leave behind debris, like and workers leave footprints. There's dust and all of that everywhere.
Yeah, so I mean, there's sheetrocking, there's sanding, there's dust on everything, the windows, the fixtures, the kitchens. They're drilling for, putting in the cabinet fixtures. So there's a lot. The bathrooms are installing the toilets and the sinks and the showers, and there's just a lot of dust.
And hands on everything. Yeah. Hands on everything.
Exactly. So there's a lot of post-construction is actually a lot of work because the dust is in the air, so it resettles a lot. So you're constantly wiping those surfaces a couple times. Sometimes you have to use an air scrubber on certain places because...
What's that? What's an air scrubber?
So it helps remove the particles from the air so they're not resettling on surfaces, which is really like a great way to do a post-construction in some of the bigger jobs that we have, because you have ventilation and you're able to kind of get those particles out of the air. It's not, you don't have to use it as often, but I did a recent job in a basement where there was no ventilation. And the only way to get that stuff out of the air was to get an air scrubber in there. So as soon as you start sweeping or wiping, you're kind of creating that dust back in the air, and you want to get that out of there so it doesn't resettle. So
it actually is clean.
It is actually clean. Yes. So making everything look, perfect and brand new when you go into a place. Hebert's, of course, they're doing it for their clients, and they want to make sure that when they're turning over the building, it looks great. And that's what we do.
There's nothing like walking into a brand new home or apartment that's just like sparkling and spotless. That's such a nice feeling.
Yeah.
It's cool that you get to be a part of that.
I know.
For people.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, when you do a good job, people call you and they know that there's no unknown, So I think building my reputation of knowing I'm going to show up, I'm going to be there, which is hard because there's a lot of contractors, there's a lot of people that just don't show up and do a good job, or they show up and then they're not there the next day, I think showing up, knowing what they're getting makes it easy. And then you become like, I don't want to say they're exclusive, but they're going to call on you because they have so many other things to worry about. The cleaning part is, they don't want to worry about that. They want to go, they want to make sure that it's done. And I definitely make sure it's done all the time. And I check all the work and I sign it over and I'm like, yep, that's to my standard and we're good. So it's awesome.
Carey, what are you most proud of in your professional career?
The thing that I'm most proud of is that in both of my businesses, people can trust me, like that I bring something to the community of, knowing that when they call me, we're gonna be there, that we do a great job. We get so many rave reviews of, thank you so much for coming. Recently, I was telling you guys I had a review of a lady that hired another pooper scooper, and she's like, I didn't even know they were here. She's like, you did an amazing job. We do the whole yard cleanup. You're gonna know that we're there. Yep. And it looks amazing. We have so many before and after pictures. So just being a person that somebody can count on and know that they can trust and doing quality work, I think that's, as an entrepreneur, what everybody strives for mostly. Right. So just being proud of myself for the work that I do.
What would your advice be to aspiring entrepreneurs?
There's in the cleaning industry, I have a couple girls that I mentor that, they're just starting. They don't have employees. They're either one person or they're trying to get an employee. And And I never feel like it's a competition. I just feel like if I can share some information and help somebody else out, because there's plenty of work, there's plenty of work for all of us. If I can help them to get to the next level and guide them and give them some inside information of how to cut cost or, streamline buying their supplies. I love doing that. I love helping people. And I think that even in pooper scooping or collaborative, I feel like I'm just helping people. It's not about the sales. And I think when I originally started cleaning, I'm not a salesperson, but in my heart, I felt like I was doing a great service to help people. I clean a house for a 104-year-old man who sleeps when we clean. I love that. I love being able to go in and just know that we're helping people accomplish the things that they need done. So it's not really about sales for me. It's about feeling like I'm doing good for the community and the people that I service. So
I kind of said it in jest at the top of the interview as far as what's next for you.
Yeah.
But are you concentrating right now on growing these two businesses before starting a third, or are you even considering starting a third?
Well, I'm 50 and I feel like I want to build these businesses for my kids, my daughter-in-law and my son, for sure. My daughter might go in a different direction. She wants to be a veterinarian. But my daughter-in-law is my operations manager, and she does a lot of work for me. And she wants to take this over, and I want her to, because I feel like there's probably something else for me out there eventually. And my son has been taking over scoops this year, so he really has checked into doing a great job with customer service and the yards and all that stuff. So my goal is to kind of help build this for my kids and let them do what they will with it. And I think give them that little, step up to have their own success. But yeah, I'm kind of like a free spirit, so I just like to do all kinds of different things. So I think definitely there's some other stuff.
So if the right opportunity presented itself, you'd
Absolutely.
consider it, right?
Yeah.
And you're setting your family up for success, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Carey, where can folks go to learn more about Scoop for Paws and Collaborative Cleaners?
I have a Facebook page. Scoop for Paws has a Facebook page, and Collaborative Cleaners has a Facebook page. I don't have websites for them. It's like just go message, text. Pretty easy to get a hold of us. And that's it.
All right. Anything else that you would like our listeners to know?
You should definitely have pooper scooping. Don't let anybody talk you out of it.
As long as you have a dog. Right?
Yeah, as long as you have a dog.
You need to have a dog.
Let's not be weird.
Yeah.
Definitely have pooper scooping. Let somebody else do the heavy work for you. You'll love it. I had a lady tell me once she would rather have pooper scooping than cable, which I think is awesome. And if you need cleaning, if you need post-construction one time,
People with Airbnbs.
Offices, anything, you can give us a call.
Well, congratulations on your success.
Thank you so much.
It's great. It's great to see. I can't wait to see what's next for you.
Awesome.
After your kids take over and you get bored, you're like, maybe I'll start a couple more businesses. Who knows?
Maybe I'll just go to an island.
There you go.
I'm a cabana boy.
Oh, I love it.
Which leads us into 3 random questions. I think she just answered one of them. Locally owned and locally focused, Lydia Media celebrates the heart of the greater Lewiston-Auburn area through 2 magazines, Uncle Andy's Digest and LA Metro Magazine, and the new Lydia's Lunch Bunch podcast. Each production shines a positive light on local businesses, nonprofits, events, and individuals making a difference in our community. Keep your advertising dollars local and position your business in front of your target audience with Lydia Media. Learn more at lydiamediallc.com. So, Carey, as you know, we like to close the show with a segment called 3 Random Questions, where we get to know you a little bit outside of your profession. Mm-hmm. Keeping your professional skills separate, what could you teach someone to do today with 100% certainty?
One of my passions is Jeeping. So I like to go off-roading. I like to go on trails. And I've been doing this for quite a few years now. So if somebody wanted to go Jeeping and like take it outside the box, maybe do a little couple scary things, I think I could do that.
I need to know what scary things are when it comes to Jeeping.
You know, like going down rocks, feeling like you're going to die, but you're not going to.
I'm in.
It's just kind of like riding the edge. Like, wow, this is really scary, but you're going to be okay. And then you're like, that was amazing.
I'll go because that kind of leads into what I was going to ask.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew you liked Jeeping and I wanted to bring that up. I would like to hear your favorite Jeeping story or memory.
You know, it's awesome that we have cameras now and we take so many pictures, but we went up to this airport in Bangor and they have like this area that we were riding. And I remember it was probably one of the first rides that I went on. And we were going up over this big hill. And when you're driving and it's like so wobbly, I don't know why, I always hit the horn. So I'm like going up over and you can hear it in the video and it's like, beep. And like then everybody's looking at you like, what the heck are they doing? You know, but you're just laughing hysterically. It's so fun. And so I think whenever I get into challenging positions and I'm trying to keep the steering wheel steady or whatever, I end up hitting the horn. It's just been a thing for me. Like, here I come.
The audio experience.
I'm making it. I'm doing it. And my Jeep is standard. So I think because my hands are just all over the place trying to get through this stuff that, I end up hitting the horn. So, yeah.
I have a regular question that I ask frequently, and it is, would you rather, this isn't a question for you, but it's a setup for the next part of it. The question is usually, would you rather fight 100 chicken-sized horses or one horse-sized chicken? But the question is going to be different for you. Would you rather clean up the poop of 100 chicken-sized horses or one horse-sized chicken?
One horse-sized chicken.
Yeah.
You know why? Because those 100, they're little, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those are the tricky ones to find. Mm-hmm. I like it to be like, there it is. Woo, can't miss it.
Yeah.
So easy.
I feel like a horse-sized chicken poop would be real big.
I mean, need a wheelbarrow, but it's okay. I found it.
Yeah.
Opposed to risking leaving it in the yard and then the homeowner find it and be like, you left a turd.
Got it.
Like, or 100 turds.
100. Yeah. Right?
So want to make sure we get them all.
Yeah.
So I would definitely take the big poop first.
Yeah.
You're like the Pokemon of dog poop. Got to get them all.
Gotta get them all.
Right?
Gotta collect them all. I always say no turds left behind to my employees. No turds left behind, guys. No turds.
Carey, it's been a pleasure.
It has.
Awesome. It's always
for
a
joining
pleasure.
us.
seeing
Thank you for
guys.
joining us this morning. And once again, congrats on your success and whatever the future holds for you.
Thank
You're
you
doing
so
great
much.
work.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Dog's work.
That's right.
You're doing dog's work out there.
Yes. Yep.
Thanks to our sponsors, Ruper's Beverage and Redemption and United Piping. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam via email at pam@lydiamediallc.com.
Have a great day. And remember, don't bite your cat.